It has been 2 weeks since he was deported to his dangerous home country. Now this man's family is going on the offensive to try to get him home. News 12 starts now. And that is where we begin tonight. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for watching News 12. I'm Scott McGee. Now, recently we told you the story of the well-known Elmsford wildlife photographer Anwar Al-Amisi. He was being deported to Yemen. Now his family is speaking out and fighting to bring him back home. News 12's Ali Warshawski is in the newsroom with the story you'll see only on 12.
Anwar Al-Amisi inspired his cousin to pick up a camera, even let him tag along on his photography gigs. Now the 14-year-old might never see him again.
My mom and my dad, they've been thinking about it. They've been hoping, praying for him to come back to the United States. That's literally all I want, for him to come back to us.
His cousins say Anwar would take them to play soccer and explore the outdoors.
We had so many fun moments where we used to go upstate where he used to live, and we used to do a lot of cool things and around mountains and reservoirs.
It's been 2 weeks since Anwar was deported during an immigration check. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement tells us he had been given an order of removal in 2005. He filed an appeal which was denied, leading to his deportation.
He be here almost 18 years. He was happy.
His uncle Fayez Al-Amisi says he was brought to a hotel in Yemen, 12 hours from his mother, and a trip not safe enough to take.
We hope to bring him back because it's not safe back there.
Senator Chuck Schumer and presidential candidate Elizabeth Warren weighing in on the case. Schumer saying will work with his advocates and attorney to help. Ali Warshawski, News 12.
Thank you, Ali. Now, a former Orange County town clerk has admitted to stealing from taxpayers. Jolene Roy admitted to taking more than $21,000 from the town of Crawford, then trying to falsify the town records to conceal those thefts. Roy pleaded guilty to grand larceny and tampering with public records. She will be sentenced in May and has been ordered to pay back that money. And 4 people have been charged in connection to a kidnapping and homicide in Goshen. Officials say back in December of 2019, the victim went to the house where the 3 defendants lived, armed with a gun. But then the 3 disarmed him, tied him to a chair, and allegedly beat him with a baseball bat. Officials say they then used the 4th suspect's car to drive him to the town of Chester, where they dumped his body. A motorist noticed the body, called police, the victim taken to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. A man walking his dog discovered a body inside a Westchester park. The deceased 80-year-old New York City man was found yesterday morning in the woods at Wilson's Woods Park in Mount Vernon. Police say there were no visible signs of trauma. The county medical examiner now working to determine the cause of death. The man's name has not been released while police notify his family. And one person was seriously hurt after being shot in Poughkeepsie. Police say that happened sometime early this morning in the area of 71 Garden Street. When they arrived, they found a 16-year-old shot in the arm. He was taken to a nearby hospital where he was listed in serious but not life-threatening condition. Anyone with information on this is asked to call the Poughkeepsie Tips line at 845-451-7577. Now, a traffic stop in Patterson led to the arrest of a man from Connecticut. Police arrested Marcellus Farrell of Patterson at the intersection of Route 292 and Harmony Road last week. During that stop, the officer found that Farrell was wanted in Connecticut for a hit and run. He was taken into custody, arraigned in Putnam, is now waiting to be picked up by Connecticut police. A man from the state of Florida has just been extradited to the Hudson Valley after being accused of raping a child. Investigators say Edwin Rodriguez sexually abused the victim, who was under the age of 13. The 35-year-old now being held at the Orange County Jail on several felony charges, including predatory sexual assault and rape. The lawyers for Harvey Weinstein using their closing arguments today to say prosecutors have a tail, not a case. That was the defense team's last shot to win over jurors in a case that has come to define the Me Too movement. Meanwhile, prosecutors will make their closing arguments tomorrow. The disgraced movie mogul is accused of raping a woman in 2013 and forcibly performing a sex act on another woman in 2006. Weinstein maintains that both encounters were consensual. The people of New Paltz still shouldn't drink the water from the tap, and it's going to be a couple more days. That advisory started after a fuel line leaked heating oil into the water supply. Now, massive tanks full of fresh water have been placed all around New Paltz. including at the Village Town Hall, where residents are able to get drinking water for their homes and businesses.
We are only using bottled water now. We're not serving any tap water to anyone, so it's totally safe to come down and eat. And, you know, most of the restaurants in town are doing the same.
Well, Village Mayor Tim Rogers says they are working with the state and local health department officials to flush the system. He expects the notice will be lifted by the end of the week. We'll, of course, keep you posted on that. A Yonkers Republican city councilman trying to kick out the local head of the GOP. This after his son switched political parties just this last week. Councilman Anthony Moranti is calling on Yonkers GOP leader Justin Tubiolo to resign immediately. He says they can no longer trust his leadership. This after County Legislator David Tubiolo, who represents parts of Yonkers and Mount Vernon on the County Board of Legislators, announced he was joining the Democrats, effectively leaving the board with no Republican representatives. Moranti says he's willing to take over the party in the short term because local Republicans need to have confidence in their leadership.
Who are you? Are you the father of a Democratic legislator, or are you the Republican chairman? And you know, we're just saying let's cut ties now.
In a statement, however, Justin Tubiolo said he informed the executive committee last week that he would be stepping back from his responsibilities and that Councilman Moranti was aware of that decision. He said he also disagreed with the son's decision to switch parties. Well, the ban keeping only New Yorkers from the federal Trusted Traveler Program, the topic of discussion between the governor and the president at the White House today. But did a tweet before the meeting disrupt all those talks? Well, News 12's Logan Crawford has that story.
Hours before President Trump and Governor Cuomo met Thursday at the White House, the president took to Twitter, taking a shot at the governor's brother, CNN anchor Chris Cuomo, saying, "I'm seeing Governor Cuomo today at the White House. He must understand that national security far exceeds politics. New York must stop all of its unnecessary lawsuits and harassment, start cleaning itself up and lowering taxes. Build relationships, but don't bring Fredo."
This is childish junior high school retaliation, and I think most people know that.
The president and the governor met to talk about the Trusted Traveler ban. The feds are now blocking New Yorkers from getting access to travel programs like Global Entry.
Not fair that they try to put a ban on us, but I guess they doing it because we didn't vote for Trump, so they tried to get us.
The Department of Homeland Security placed the ban on New York because of the state's green light law, which includes allowing undocumented immigrants to be able to get their driver's licenses, but it also blocks the federal government from accessing the state's DMV information. The DHS says they have concerns over not being able to access immigration status for people applying for programs like Global Entry. Before meeting with the president, however, Cuomo proposed a solution.
We will give you whatever information you want from the DMV database, Department of Motor Vehicles database, for the Trusted Traveler Program. I'm cooperating. Will you now stop doing what you're doing?
Logan Crawford, News 12.
Well, the Senate today passed an Iran War Powers Act over the objections of the president. It had solid bipartisan support, being approved with a vote of 55 to 45. The act meant to rein in the president's ability to use the military action against Tehran without congressional approval. This, of course, comes after the president greenlighted the killing of an Iranian general in Iraq last month. President Trump expected to veto the resolution, though, if it does, in fact, reach his desk. Attorney General William Barr says the president's tweets about the Justice Department make it impossible for him to do his job. Barr telling ABC News tonight that the president's constant commentary undercuts him and harms the integrity of the department. This comes as House Democrats are planning to grill Barr about his leadership. Barr has agreed to testify before Congress on March 31st. The Judiciary Committee will ask Barr about overruling prosecutors on the sentencing of Roger Stone, one of Trump's allies who was convicted of lying to Congress. The committee will also ask about the Justice Department's arrangement with Rudy Giuliani, who is gathering information about Ukraine. All right, we are way switching gears. We're going to talk about our forecast. Meteorologist Steve Teeling here now. And Steve, man, it's just been dreary, mild temperatures, but rain.
Rain. Like you said, just like Seattle. They've seen a lot of rain. We're seeing a lot of rain. We're actually going to be dry for the next couple of days with one exception. we're going to get a whole lot colder. So get ready for that. We haven't seen those cold temperatures in quite some time. Make sure you know where you kept all the warm weather gear because you'll need it. You're not going to need the snow boots or shovels or anything like that over the next couple of days. It's going to remain dry, but it's going to be cold. And occasion we'll get a day or two of cold. Then it seems like we have 2 or 3 weeks of milder than average temperatures. Then a couple days of cold and so on and so forth. Well, that's exactly what's happening with us the next couple of days. Tonight, we're going to see lows drop into the 20s. From Middletown, your low will be 22. All the way to Yonkers, your low will be 28. We'll call it mostly clear. It'll be brisk and it'll be colder, obviously. And that brisk wind out of the northwest at 10 to 15 miles an hour will make that 22 at times feel closer to 10. That 28 in Yonkers feel pretty much in the teens. So dress for that when you head out the door tomorrow morning. On Friday, we're looking at a mostly sunny day. And you notice temps didn't really budge all that much. A lot of us remain in the 20s, maybe 30 in West Nyack, and I think the best we're going to do in White Plains and Yonkers will be 32 degrees. However, once again, with that northwest wind, 10 to 20 miles an hour with a few higher gusts above that, that'll make these temperatures once again feel like the single numbers and teens during most of the day. So make sure you have that warm weather gear handy for sure. This lasts into Saturday before we start to see a rebound in our temperatures once again, but it is a very long weekend. You have Valentine's Day tomorrow and you have President's Day Monday, so a lot going on this weekend. What does the rest of the weekend hold and what does next week hold? Any snow in sight? We'll have that forecast for you with your hyperlocal 7-day forecast in just a few minutes.